All right, let's dive in. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on one of those hidden systems that, quietly keeps the financial gears of global business turning. We're talking about the dreaded credit hold. You've probably seen a message just like this one. For whoever is trying to get their work done, it feels like a frustrating dead end. But for us, it's the start of an investigation. This one simple complaint is actually the clue that unlocks a whole world of automated financial logic, and today we're going to solve the case together.
So let's get into it. What is really behind this mystery? Before we start looking for clues, we need to establish what a credit hold actually is.
Okay, first thing you have to understand, this is not some random IT glitch. A credit block is a totally deliberate, automated business decision. You should think of it like a financial gatekeeper. Its entire job is to protect the company from taking on too much risk before it ships products out the door. It's an absolutely critical safety measure. And because of that, a consultant's job isn't just to click a button that says unblock. No way. A real expert has to act like a detective here. You've got to diagnose why the block happened in the first place, then you have to validate if the system's math is even correct. From there, you facilitate the right business decision, and then, this is the important part, you optimize the rules to prevent these false alarms from happening again in the future.
So how on earth does the system make this decision in like a fraction of a second? Let's pop the hood and take a look at the engine. We are literally going inside the system's brain to see how it thinks.
Okay, so every single time someone hits save on a sales order, this logical chain reaction just fires off instantly. The system asks itself a series of questions. Is this customer even managed for credit? What's their risk level? What are they trying to do right now? And based on those answers, it runs a specific set of pre-configured rules and then delivers its final verdict, approved or blocked. Now, the central piece of evidence the system uses for this whole process is something called credit exposure. And let me be clear, this is not just about unpaid invoices, not at all. It's the total financial risk at that exact moment, adding up every open order that hasn't shipped, every delivery that's on a truck, and every single outstanding bill. It's the whole picture. So, if we think of high credit exposure as the crime, then what are the specific triggers? Well, let's line up what I like to call the 5 usual suspects. These are the main system checks that can put an order on hold. And all of these rules, all these suspects, they're all defined in one central control panel inside SAP. If you're familiar with the system, you probably know it by its transaction code OVA8. You can really think of this as the system's engine room, where the business gets to set all the dials for how strict or lenient its credit policy is going to be.
So here's our lineup. We've got the static check and the dynamic check, the document value check, the critical fields check, and finally, the oldest open item check. Each one is designed to look for a very different kind of risk.
First up is the static check. This one's the most common and the most straightforward. It asks one simple question. Is the customer's total exposure, that big formula we just looked at, greater than their approved credit limit? If the answer is yes, boom, it's blocked. It's simple, it's strict, and it is very effective.
Now, the dynamic check is a little bit smarter. It also compares exposure to the credit limit, but it has this intelligent twist. It ignores orders that are scheduled for delivery way out in the future. This is so important because it prevents a huge order for next year from eating up a customer's entire credit line today. It's just a much more practical approach for a lot of businesses.
Next up, the document value check. Now, this one isn't about the customer's total debt. It's all about the value of the single order that's being entered right now. It's basically a safety net to catch typos. Think about it. It stops someone from accidentally placing a $1 million order when they really meant to type $100, a real lifesaver.
Then we have the critical fields check. This is the security guard of the group. It watches for any changes to sensitive data within the order itself. So, for example, if a salesperson tries to change the payment terms to something more favorable, hoping to bypass a credit block, well, this check catches it, and it flags the order for review immediately. And finally, we have the most surprising one of them all, the oldest open item check. This check can block a massive customer, someone with a $1 million credit limit, simply because they have a single, forgotten $10 invoice that's 90 days overdue. It's not about how much they owe, it's about how long they've owed it. Pretty wild, right?
Okay, so now that we've met all of our suspects, how do we actually solve the case? Let's switch gears and move from the theory to the practical steps of diagnosing the problem and, finding a resolution.
So here's the most crucial point. You never, ever have to guess. The system actually records exactly why it blocked an order. It's stored in something called the credit check log. This is the black box of the transaction, and opening it up reveals precisely which of our 5 suspects is the guilty party.
And when you look at that log, your investigation will almost always lead you to one of 2 outcomes. In scenario A, the glass is full, the system is working perfectly, and the customer has legitimately maxed out their credit. But in scenario B, you run into what we call ghost exposure. This is where the system thinks the glass is overflowing because of some data glitch, when in reality, there's still plenty of room. One of these requires a business decision, and the other one, well, that requires a technical fix.
So, based on that diagnosis, the consultant has a whole toolkit of solutions. For a really urgent order, you can do a one-time tactical release. If the customer's business has just grown, maybe you recommend a permanent increase to their credit limit. If old paid items are jamming up the calculation, you work with the finance team to get them cleaned up. And to fix that nasty ghost exposure, there's a special program you can run to force the system to recalculate everything correctly.
All right, to wrap things up, let's look to the future, because this whole process is evolving, and it's evolving fast. The classic way of managing credit is being replaced by much more sophisticated and integrated technology.
In the old world of SAP, which is known as ECC, credit data was just a simple record attached to a customer. But in the new world of S/4HANA, it's all integrated into a central business partner profile. And instead of just a simple manual release, a blocked order now creates a formal case for review with a full audit trail and everything. The whole process has just become so much more robust.
And that really brings us to the core takeaway here. This incredibly detailed, meticulous, automated process, it's not just about micromanaging one single sales order. It's a fundamental risk management system that is there to ensure the long-term financial health and stability of the entire company.
So, the next time you see a system that just says no, remember what we've unpacked here today. Ask yourself, is it really just a roadblock that's stopping you from getting work done? Or maybe, just maybe, it's an invitation to look a little deeper, to understand the logic, and to see the bigger picture that it's actually trying to protect.